Hello again everybody! So today I'm back with my to be read for April. So as I explained in my March wrap up last video, I decided to split them into two separate chunks because it would make one really long video and I think it'd be better as two shorter ones. So I've got a really good month planned for April. It's a really varied mixture of books and I'm looking forward to getting started on them. So without further ado, let me show you what I'm going to be reading this month. So firstly, as I've explained a couple of times, I'm having a bit of a manga binge at the minute. I bought loads in March and I want to read a bit more in April. So, I've set aside two lots to read. I want to read, firstly, Deadman Wonderland. So this is a little bit like the Hunger Games. Basically, there's a prison, and this prison is essentially Deadman Wonderland. You have to fight off demons and just basically try and survive. So it's very boy action, swords and demons and fighting, and I know I'm going to love that. And the other one is Sword Art Online. So as I talked about in my book haul video a couple of days ago, this really appealed to me because it's combining video games and manga and books in everything in one, and I love that. A lot of the books I've read in the past few months have been based on games or related in some way, and this works for that same reason. It's about a virtual reality, massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Released, it's 2022, the year it's set in, and one release day when all these players log into this game, they find there isn't a log out button, and they're trapped in there until they complete the game. If they die in the game, they die in real life. It's a really interesting concept, and it perfectly combines elements of like gamer culture with the life or death situation and action that I really enjoy. So as soon as I saw that on the shelf, I knew I needed to read it, and I can't wait to start that one soon. The book I'm actually currently reading is Look Who's Back by Timur Verms. So this was a German publication originally, and the basic concept is it's 2011 and Adolf Hitler wakes up in modern day Germany and has no idea what to make of it. It's all about Hitler rediscovering what Germany is now like and trying to reconcile that with his views and then restarting his campaign to make a pure, perfect Aryan German land. So it's a really, really interesting book, and it's fascinating the way the character of Hitler is portrayed and how the author gets into his head. And it's a really interesting concept. It's a really eye-catching cover, and it's quite a lot different to what I normally read. I'm reading this in my book club as well, so I'm looking forward to hearing back what those guys think about it, because we're quite a varied mixture of ages. And very, very interesting. That's the first one for this month that I picked up, because it's just that slightly bit more interesting, a bit different to everything else I've read recently. And I'm looking forward to finishing that one off. So the last thing I've got set aside for myself to read this month is Day 4 by Sarah Lotz. So Sarah Lotz wrote The Three, which is kind of a post-apocalyptic conspiracy theory style novel released last year about a series of plane crashes, and it's 4 plane crashes basically within a few days, and in 3 of the cases a child survives. And one of the really interesting things about the book is that it never answers the questions it sets. It's about how the rest of humanity kind of approaches the questions and the mysteries of it, and that's really fascinating. And another thing it does really well is how it uses different narrative forms. It uses blog posts and MSN and Twitter conversations and interviews and all really interesting techniques. And so as soon as I heard she'd released a sequel, which snuck up on me completely unexpectedly, I knew I needed to read it. Now I know very, very little about what this is about, what the plot is, who the characters are, whether it's linked to the first one in a direct way or just a similar style. I have no idea. But I do know it's got the same narrative styles in it, and I'm very excited about that. And having enjoyed the first one, I know this one will be great too. Also, I'm a sucker for coloured edges, as I probably mentioned before, so all things considered, this is one that I knew as soon as I saw it was being released, I needed to read. So that's all the specific books I've got set aside to read. So it's a much smaller pile than it has been recently, but I know that I want to read something else politically in the run-up to the election, so you can expect something to be slotted in, but I've not quite decided what yet. I think it'll be a case of whatever takes my fancy, I'll give that a read. However, I still think I've got a bit of space. Manga doesn't take long to read, and some of those books are short, so it's time to get back to the TBR jar. TBR jar time. This hasn't gone down as much as I'd hoped because I've been putting more stuff in as I go, which is a nightmare. But let's see what I pull out for this month. It's a really varied mix. I've not got much non-fiction, so that'd be appreciated, but let's see what I pull out. So, interesting, Rivers of London by Ben Aronovich. So, Ben Aronovich is a sci-fi writer, and he writes, basically it's called the Peter Grant series, about a detective in a vaguely supernatural London. And I've met Ben, and everybody loves the books, and I've never actually got around to reading any of them. So this is the first in his series, and they've always been ones that have taken my eye. And I've not actually got any crime or much sci-fi this month, so that's the perfect book to fit this month. And again, it's not too long, so that fits really well. So there we have it. That is my collection of books for April. It's a really good mix, and like I say, I think there'll be something politics slotted in as well. I'm looking forward to giving them all a read. As always, if you've read any of these or got any suggestions for what politics book I should read, please let me know down below in the comments, that'd be great. Otherwise, if you want to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know whether you like this split wrap-up and to-be-read format, because I know that both videos are about 7 or 8 minutes already, so combined, that'd be a mammoth video. I prefer it this way, but let me guys know what you think, because that's what matters. Other than that, my Twitter and Goodreads are down below as always. Follow how I'm going with these. And one of the things I found really interesting is comparing my Goodreads ratings, which I do basically as soon as I've read the book, with my wrap-up ratings, which can often vary quite a lot when I've had time to think about it. So that's something interesting if you do follow me on Goodreads. Other than that, I'll be back in the next few days with another video. I don't know what yet, but nice surprise for you all, and I'll see you then.